What's up, everybody? Today we have on Dino, our lead marketer at Adapt Digital Solutions. He is the man in charge when it comes to Google My Business, getting new listings live, and dealing with the inevitable suspensions that come along with using these listings. So Dino's here today to talk to us about getting these listings live, verifying them, what to do when they get suspended, and just general tips and tricks for how you can deal successfully with Google. So Dino, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Chuck. Thanks for having me.
So where does the story start today, Dino?
So, before we get started, I just want to also give a brief introduction of myself. Just want to give my background when it comes to GMBs. So, I've been doing this for the past 4 to 5 years. That's when I created the first listing. But I really got into this topic for the last year. And in this period, I've managed over 100 listings, and myself, I created around 40 to 50 and managed to get all of them live for different businesses across different locations.
Very cool. And so, how has your experience been so far dealing with these listings and with Google? Has it been easy?
Oh, definitely not. It's never easy with Google. In a way, they try to make you really lose patience when you do anything with them, and it's never easy. So you just have to be really dedicated and try to do as much as you can.
Cool. So when it comes to starting a new listing, talk to me about that. What is the process? How do you get them verified? Do they always get suspended?
So if anybody wants to create a new listing, they just go to business.google.com, and that's where we create all the listings. Before you create a listing, it would be ideal to have some profiles on some other platforms. It would be ideal to have a website, to have profiles on Facebook, Instagram, and some of these other places such as Yelp, House, and all of these, because when you create a listing, Google has the verification process where they basically look at your company online and they try to see if you're a real company. If you have some profiles online, if you have online presence, they're gonna make it a lot easier for you to complete the initial verification process. When it comes to that, there are a couple of different ways that you can verify your Google business listing. When you first create it, they're gonna ask you to verify your phone number that you had. They're gonna send you a 6-digit code. You just paste that, and then you just let it sit there for the 24 to 48 hours. And in that time, they're gonna do the review of your business, and they're gonna let you know if they verified your listing or not.
When I was doing these listings years ago, they would send you a postcard. Do they still do that?
No, they haven't been doing that for the past year and even more than that. Right now, their main way of verification is video verification. They ask you to record a business video where you'll be at your physical location. They're going to ask you to record your business documents, such as the business license, and any tools that you have, any equipment, things like that. So that right now, that's their main way of verifying the new listings.
So when you're doing these videos, how should people do these videos so that they get accepted the first time?
Yeah, so the main thing is try to show them as much proof as you can of your business and your location. Show them the business registration documents, business license, any tools you use. Be at the physical location. Show them any bills, any utility bills such as water bill, electricity bill, anything that proves you're owner of that location, or that you have a permission to be there. So anything that you can record, just do that and show them as much proof as you can.
Okay. And then how often do these videos get accepted?
Not always, they work really good, but sometimes you have to do it multiple times. Sometimes Google is going to look at the video and they're going to be like, no, we're not going to accept you. So if they don't accept your video, then try it, 2 to 3 times. Try it again before you reach out to the Google support and talk to them about it. Never give up after the first video, because the chances are it's not going to be accepted.
Okay. And then what other options do you have for the verification? Is that it?
No, so some listings, they only get verified through phone number. Once you start the verification process, you verify the phone number. That's all that's required. If they don't do it that way, then your next way to verify them is do a verification video. Even if you reach out to the Google support and you ask them why your listing is not live, they're just gonna tell you to do the video. So you have to do the video first before you can reach out to Google support and talk about getting your business live. If your business video recording doesn't work, then your third option is to reach out to Google support team, fill out the reinstatement form, and try to get your listing set up that way. They're again going to ask you for some documentation, such as the license, and to prove that you have some, you own the address that you want to get verified on, or the business is registered there, or just anything that proves the address. Again, that also doesn't work a lot of the times when you're the first time. A lot of the times when I was doing it, they would just reply back to you and say your business is not eligible to be on Google, and then you just fill it out again. You send them the same document, same message, same everything, and they accept it. So when it comes to that, never give up after the first try. Always do it again if they don't accept it. And if you do it a couple of times and then they don't accept it, the final thing you can do is request live video, talk to a Google representative. And if you get to that point, when you talk to the actual person, 99% chance they're going to get your GMB live within the 30 minutes after the call.
Yeah, one thing I remember is it always seemed like as soon as I got a hold of a real person, I was able to get the listing live. And my tactic when I was doing this was if they asked for a document, I would upload 10 documents. I would just bombard them with so much evidence that the business is legit and that it exists that they couldn't refuse. One thing that worked one time, I was fixing a suspension, or probably fixing a suspension for a business that had been around for a long time. And I sent a screenshot of their Guild Quality business listing. So Guild Quality is a website. It's pretty reputable. And there was a listing on there that was like 8 years old and had reviews from 8 years ago. And so I put a link to that page and a screenshot of it. And I said, look, this business has been registered on Guild Quality for 8 years at this address. Here's reviews. And they didn't even say anything. They just made it live.
Yeah, same works today. In the reinstatement form itself, they ask you to paste a link to your Better Business Bureau profile. And if you have that, if you paste link to that, chances are your verification is going to work the first time you do it. If you don't have it, they might not accept it the first time.
That's a good tip. So when setting up a new business, it's important to have a website, have Better Business Bureau, have like things online that mention your business. Is that required? Can you just start a listing when there's no mention of your company online?
You definitely can, and you can still get it verified even without the listing, without any profiles, but you're just going to have a much harder time doing it. You're going to have to reach out to the Google support team multiple times. You're going to have to try to schedule a call with the real guy and then talk to him. So they're just going to make your process a lot harder if you do it that way. And having all these profiles is beneficial for you anyways. So I would just suggest you first that and then create your listing.
So I bet a lot of people that watch this video, they will have a business listing that was already live, but it got suspended. Sometimes it gets suspended because they did something. Other times it just seems to get suspended randomly. So can you tell us, like, what are some reasons why listings get suspended?
What I've seen, there are two main reasons why listing would get suspended. First one is if you change the name of your listing, and if you change the name of your company, that's the first one. Second one, if you change the address, if you move down street to a different town, they just need to verify that you are at that address or the name got changed. So those are the two reasons that could get your business listing suspended. I've not seen anything else get listing suspended besides those two reasons.
Have you ever seen a listing get suspended for no reason?
Yeah, I have. We worked with one company and we're still working with them. We had to verify their listing like 5 or 6 times, and any time we make it live, we send documentation to Google. We try to change business description, working hours, anything, they just suspend immediately. Took us like 3 months to get that fully fixed, and right now everything is really good. So it is a possibility. It's just a rare case scenario. It doesn't happen all the time.
Hmm. Yeah, I think sometimes you get stuck in Google's automation loop where something is flagging your listing or your account, and it's like an accident. It's nothing you did. But I think sometimes listings will get suspended if somebody else reports them. I can go on Google and report anybody's listing, and I can say report it for spam, report it for racism, I can make it closed. Like I can do a lot of things. And so I think that happens too, where, a listing that's been on there for 10 years gets suspended randomly and no one's even logged into it.
Mhm.
I think that could be sometimes it could be like competition, competitors going in there flagging it,
Mhm.
or it could be some kind of automatic thing.
Yeah, that's definitely right. But in those cases, it's a lot easier to get the business live back again than if it was never verified before.
So how do you do that? Business gets suspended. What do you do?
You just have to go to support.google.com, find the section for the GMB suspension, and just fill out their questionnaire, the form that they have. Explain the issue. They're going to ask you for certain proofs. Once you send that, you're going to get a verification email that they received your request. They're going to look at your situation, and a few days you're going to have reply back from them about the situation. If they reply negatively, they don't want to make your GMB live, just fill it out again and do it until they make your business live. Because what I've seen so far, and to me, it looks like, in some cases, Google doesn't really know what they're doing, or it's just bots managing it without any actual guidelines. So one time you're going to do something and you're going to be fine. Next time you're going to do it and, they're not going to accept it. So you just have to keep on repeating the same process. And, in the end, any listing can be made live as long as as long as it's a real business and you have a business registration documents and a proof of address.
Yeah, so I mean, for us, we set up these listings for people all the time.
Mm.
We do our best to set them up right the first time, the right categories, the right language, the right name, address, all of that, so that we don't risk getting it suspended later when we try to change something like the hours. And so that's a little piece of advice to people is, think through what you're doing, maybe do some research. I have a video on my channel about setting up a Google listing. It's a little old, but it's still mostly relevant. And just, know what you're doing, set it up correctly, and then most of the time it'll get suspended no matter what when you create a new listing. But once you get it reactivated, you don't want to be changing it because it's probably going to get suspended again.
Mhm. Yeah, and the other tip that I would love to give to people is just to manage their GMBs. Take a look at it at least once a month, because Google is always looking at the whole internet and they're gathering information. And sometimes they might automatically update your working hours or your website link or your phone number. And it might be wrong if they're pulling that information from some other platform that you created profile years ago. So definitely check that and make sure that the information is right. Do it at least once a month.
That's a good tip. And I know your other tip was just don't give up. So when you're dealing with Google, you just got to realize that you're mostly dealing with bots and
Mhm.
AI. Like you're not really dealing with people most of the time. So you just have to keep trying. And then even when you are dealing with people, like Dino said, sometimes they won't approve your video or your documentation, and then you send the exact same thing again and they do approve it.
Mhm.
So for me, when I have to deal with them on these kinds of things, I'm just very adamant. I have very strong conviction. I say things like, this is unacceptable. We've been in business for 20 years. We have a plethora of evidence showing that we're legit. Um, and just be really stern with them and dump a bunch of evidence on them so that there's no way they can refuse it. Because if you upload 10 documents and a person's verifying that, chances are they're not going to look at more than one or two of those documents and then just say screw it and approve it.
That's right.
Is there anything else you want to share? Any stories or any more tips for dealing with these suspended listings?
just as Chuck said, just never give up, be really consistent and be persistent. And as I said, any GMB can be made live as long as you have the right documentation. So just never give up. And, that's the best tip that I can give to anyone.
Well, here's a good question to end on. Why is it worth all the trouble to have a Google listing?
Well, because most people are looking for any type of service online, and when you type that into Google, Google is always showing the maps at the top, and if your listing is at the top and it's showing, then you're gonna get a lot of customers that way. Also, the really amazing part is that it's free. You don't have to pay any money to be shown there. So, the benefit is there are a lot of benefits, and there are no really downsides to having a GMB profile. If you don't have one and your competitors do, then they're gonna take all of your business, and that's just the sad reality of it.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you, Dino, and keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.